So years ago, my neighbor called me up and he said he found a couple of high bay lights at an auction. Maybe it was a garage sale. I don't even remember. It's been like 10 years ago. And the price seemed right. So he asked me if he should buy them for me. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. More light in the shop is better than less light. So he went ahead and purchased them. We brought them home. Went ahead and hung them up down and dirty in the garage just to make sure that they worked. And lo and behold, 10 years later, they're still working. And they put out a fair amount of light and allowed me to get some things done out there. But over the years, they've gotten a little bit yellower, and they've also shown one of the downsides of one of these high bay, what are referred to as metal halide or pressure sodium lights. And that is that they take a fair amount of time in order to turn on, warm up, and start producing the full light potential that they have. And the real downside was, if I was ever out there working in the shop and somebody, well, if I walked in, turned the lights off and walked inside because I thought I was finished, and my wife asked me if I remembered to bring my coffee cup inside, and I said, oh shoot, I'd walk back out there, turn on the lights, and I'd have to wait 10 or 15 minutes for the lights to come back on because they have to actually cool down before they'll restart. So again, these lights have served me pretty well. They put out a pretty good light, pretty bright, but I think it's time for an upgrade. And I think the upgrade that I'm going to do is to an LED. I've been doing a little research, and I'll show you what I'm up to. So I purchased this LED from one of our big orange box stores. It's a fine pen, I don't know how to pronounce it, 300 watt equivalent, puts out 4,000 lumens. Actually, in my testing, it only took 0.3 amps to operate.
So we've got the light down on the floor, and I believe that the only tools that we're going to require is a 5/16 nut driver and a 1/4 inch nut driver, a utility knife in order to take this duct tape off, because, well, you'll see in a minute that that was just for safety, and a little bit of electrical tape. So let's see what we get into. The reason for the duct tape is because there's two metal pieces that fit on the sides of this, and since these were secondhand from a garage sale, those pieces were missing. So in the interest of this not possibly sliding out, falling on my head, years ago I had put, when we hung this, put the duct tape on here to prevent this from sliding out. We also, the spring serves as a purpose to hide us from the vast amounts of seismic activity that we have here in my region. So we've allowed this to cool down a little bit. There's a small self-tapping screw that keeps this latch from unhooking and the lens from falling down. At this point we should probably be able to see all the bugs that have come to die inside of this. We'll take the shroud and the lens and set that aside. So this is the metal halide bulb that was installed in here. Metal halide, low pressure sodium, I'm not even certain, and I don't really care. This light served me pretty well. It's 250 watt General Electric multi-vapor MVR 250/U. As you can see, the gas that's contained in this intersection is getting rather dark, which is probably contributing to the yellow tint that we get from this light now. At this point, we're going to go to 5/16. We're going to undo these 3 screws, which are on the bottom. Oh, getting text messages. Probably should have put that on quiet. Maybe I can edit that out in the end. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just put this out there for, see if anybody gets any value out of this. Well, I thought there was 3 screws. Apparently there's just 2. So now we've got the socket and plate which mounts to removed. We have a black and a white wire. We're going to pay attention. The colors actually are somewhat important, because the LEDs that we're going to put in there, my understanding is they're sensitive to polarity. So the black wire is going to be for our positive, the white wire is going to be for our neutral or negative. Inside here we've got a what is referred to in the business, if you will, a multi-volt transformer. We've got leads coming off here. This one is labeled common. This one is labeled cap for the capacitor. We have a lead labeled 120. We have another lead labeled common. We have a lead labeled for, if I can see it, 208 volt. We have a lead for 240 volt. We have a lead for 227 volt. So depending on which lead you wire the power into, this transformer will actually convert it to the voltage that that bulb requires. I could bore you with trying to put a meter on each one of those voltages coming out, but I really don't care. I want this out of here. So the next thing I want to do is get my damn phone to quit. We'll pause this video. Next thing we want to do is remove this capacitor. So we're going to grab the 5/16 nut driver and we're going to unscrew that. Technically we should try to discharge this. But since I turned off the voltage and the bulb was still hooked up, in my understanding of electricity is that it's already discharged. So we can try to get this lead off of there, this lead off of there, and there we have a capacitor. Next we have the transformer, which honestly makes the majority of the weight in this thing. The rest is all aluminum housing. So it's actually fairly light. It's this daggone transformer. It makes it so heavy and difficult in order to lift to the ceiling. Now if we pull these leads out of the crown, we'll call it, which there are multiple. Take our cord and try to shove it this way. We undo these wire nuts, which couple the hot wire wires from what we refer to as the SO cord that is plugged into the top. That allows us to plug into a wall outlet, or in my case, a ceiling outlet, because I put an outlet on my ceiling, or on the joist of my pole barn. And there we have a transformer. Let's put it over here. I'm going to pull a little bit more of that cord through there so that way we can get a little bit of a break in the insulation. We're going to leave the ground hooked to the top side. Not a bad idea to keep that ground hooked up. We're going to go back to where that insulation's broke. Guess I broke out another tool that I didn't warn you about. Simple wire cutter, wire stripper combination tool. Now, we got a white wire and a black wire, and this is hook cord. We happen to have a white wire and a black wire that goes to the socket for our label. So I'm going to take the white wire and hook it to the white wire. I'm going to take a wire nut and hook the two together. Some people haven't utilized wire nuts maybe. So you want to keep screwing these on until you feel a rapid rise in the increase in torque required. It's a good idea to pull on those two wires. Make sure that they're seated in there firmly. Hook the black wire to the black wire. I know, we're getting high tech here. It's a lot of moving parts. Grab our electrical tape. This isn't really required, but if somebody were to come behind you in a few years, they might look at this and go, oh, they did a thorough job. Especially if they see you do that little twist at the end, because that will leave them a little tail of electrical tape in order to grab if they need to peel off the tape. That commences the fit, all that is required for the electrical. We'll probably pull that back up a little bit. Then we can take our base, put it back in here, line it up with the holes, grab our nut driver. I'm going to grab our light bulb and our socket adapter. So what this is Manufactured by Leviathan. It's called Standard. It actually modifies a standard light bulb base, like you would find on your 60-watt light bulb in your lamp at your bedside, to the more industrial or larger base. I believe it's referred to as a mogul base. So we screw that onto our light bulb. We screw our light bulb and socket adapter into the base of this. And technically we're done. Now I did a little bit of investigating ahead of time. One thing to figure out is this bulb screwed in that far, this bulb extends up a little bit longer. So you have to make sure that your shroud and lens that's on your light will not exceed that. Otherwise you may have to buy a smaller bulb, and you might have to pay attention to the dimensions that you're actually purchasing. However, mine worked. I gambled and it worked out. The last thing we have to do is we empty out the crystal critters in the light. I'll come back at a later time. And clean that lens, because what we're trying to do is actually get light out of this. We're actually inhibiting that with bug guts. Well, then we're contradicting our goal. Again, this has a small screw right here which keeps it on, so that way in case somebody is, that's a 1/4 inch nut driver, we're going to screw that back down, which will prevent somebody flips this open and it falls on their head. Technically, we're done. All we'd have to do is run this back up to the ceiling and hang it up, plug it in. So, with the magic of video, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we've got some pieces and parts that we've taken out of these lights. I had 2 in my shop, so as you can see I've got 2 transformers, 2 capacitors, and a couple pieces of sheet metal that were actually securing the capacitors, or somebody may say the ballast, whatever, that we don't have a use for anymore. So what do we do with these? Let's be kind to our environment, people, and let's recycle them. The capacitors, maybe somebody can voice up in the comment section to say how to properly dispose of them in an environmentally friendly way. The transformers, the outside of them is just iron. Of course the wires are copper, and the windings underneath the paper sections, there's a whole lot of copper in there actually. My wife actually utilizes that copper at times for making some jewelry. So just repurposing something seems environmentally friendly to me. It keeps us from having to purchase it, and who knows, maybe it puts a nice energy towards somebody else. So now, through the magic of time-lapse video, we get to go through the same painful task of seeing how long this needs to turn on. So, as you can see, the turn-on time was, I would say, borderline instantaneous. Definitely short enough that it should not become an inconvenience. The light output, in my opinion, is as bright as what I had before. It's a nicer, bluer light, because they're referring to these as 5K lights. So it's as, I guess they argue that it's as close to sunlight as possible, or simulates sunlight. Either way, I like it. Was the bulb burn out in this light before I started? No. Did it need to be replaced? No. Did I want it to be replaced? Yes. So that's the reason for this whole project. I hope you can find this video useful. I hope I presented it in a manner which maybe gets some minds thinking. There's been a lot of people that shared a lot of information that I've been able to utilize in my home life, even work, and I appreciate it. And I hope others out there appreciate what I've put forth. Everybody have a good day. See you on the next project.